Good evening, everyone. So, Girish, can you please play the membership video, please?
Good evening, sir.
Hello. Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Good, sir.
Yeah. Sorry. I think because the internet actually got disconnected immediately. I'm really sorry for that. Very good evening to each and everyone who's present here. And let me introduce the speaker for session today on advanced technologies and the physical security integration management system. So I would like to introduce Mr. Shashikumar Yadav. Mr. Shashikumar Yadav has worked within the electronic security industry for more than 15 years and handled different MNCs such as Genetec, Wavestore, Herta, etc. So during his tenure with these companies, he has delivered more than 100 plus small standalone systems to big integrated projects. So nowadays he is actually assisting in different consulting firms and end customers to address their interoperability concerns, available advanced open technology solutions. So we welcome Mr. Shashikumar Yadav to take on this session. It's over to you, Mr. Shashikumar.
Good evening, everyone. This is Shashikumar Yadav here. So let me start with a small presentation.
You're sounding clear. Yeah, you're audible. You're audible.
I'm audible now?
Yes, yes. Yeah, you can put it on the slideshow mode. Yeah.
Yeah. See, my PPT is visible to you, all of you?
Yes, it's visible, sir.
Okay. So today we are going to discuss on the physical security integration management, and I'm pretty sure that most of you guys have already dealt this kind of systems, and you guys are very well aware with the available options in this category. But there are certain findings which I'm going to share with you. We have delivered these kind of projects in India, and I'm personally assisting a couple of foreign projects as well. So there are some challenges, some concerns which we are going to discuss it here. And I'm also going to cover some new advanced technologies, and I'm sure probably you guys are also familiar with them. But let's look at these technologies on the next level, how they are going to make our life. I mean, how they are making our everyday life easy. What are the new advancements are coming in these fields? So we are going to cover up all those things in the coming slides. So let's understand what are our concerns nowadays. We know that security is converging. We are moving from proprietary systems to open systems which are compatible, which can run on different operating systems. So now we know that most of the companies who are developing different systems, they are basically making these systems compatible to different platforms. It's not only nowadays limited to Windows. We can see systems running on Android. We can see systems running on Linux. We can see systems are running on Unix as well. So yes, the trend is from proprietary to open, silo to integrated. So we have seen that most of the new big projects are just talking integrated way. They don't want anything to be run in a silo mode, whether it's a CCTV or access control or a fire alarm or any other intelligence system which is running in a building or in a retail mall or in a safe city or in any other vertical. IT, yes, I'll say the new boss of the security is IT. Is no more just security guys or the security heads. It's the IT guys who are basically owning these systems nowadays. And definitely new technologies, new possibilities, new partnerships. So we have to have a system or platforms which will allow us to basically opt for new advancements in the technology, new integration possibilities. So we know about PCM, right? Most of the you guys have heard about these top layer, or we call situational layers. We call them PCM in our language, physical security integration management, or you can call it physical security information management. Because nowadays security systems are not only limited to the security systems, they are open to interface your IT system. They are open to interface your any other system which is connected on your network. So it's just not limited to just security stuff. And these systems are nothing. They are just open middlewares, which is developed by different companies. And these middlewares help us to connect these separate systems and devices. So basically, these middlewares collect and correlate different events coming from different systems. With existing separate systems or new systems, which is like, take example of access control. It gets interfaced with CCTV, or fire alarm can also interface with CCTV and access control. So basically, these systems will make everyday's life easy. It helps us to correlate and connect these systems with different other systems installed in building or in your premises. So yes, different organizational benefits of these systems are already proven in the market. We are seeing that most of our, I'll say not most of, I'll say 90% of our new projects are asking and coming up with some kind of basic integration, which probably ideally most of the time consists of CCTV access control and fire at least on the minimum side. So the PCM ecosystem, as you can see, is basically, as I said earlier, it allows us to interface any system which is connected on our network and which is open in terms of the communication. And what all these systems do after integration, it basically this system follow a process. So the process is just beyond integration. What it would do, it will help us to collect the information from the connected different systems. It helps us to analyze that information. Okay. It helps us to verify that information, whether the information which is coming from different system is genuine or whether it's a false information. So it helps us to verify before we initiate any kind of action on the ground or on the field. And then it helps us to resolve the situations by following predefined SOPs, workflows, or instructions. And in last, it helps us to maintain all audit trails, reporting possibilities, and it helps us to the complete case management of any incident or alarms raising in our system. So how do basically the PC manage these different kind of D-separate systems? How it gets communication with these different D-separate systems or different systems from different manufacturers? So it's no more magic. We know the ways how these systems nowadays interact. So these are some systems, and these are ideally the methods how they interact with each other. So the most common way is we use to interface different D-separate systems with each other by using their SDK and APIs. And then fortunately, some systems which are already achieved a kind of standardization in their communication. Take example of fire alarm, intrusion detection system, GIS mapping. So these all systems basically use open platforms, open standards, such as like BACnet, Modbus, OPC. And let's talk about the network systems, in case if you would like to also keep an eye on your network, whether it's down, whether particular node is facing issues. We have SNMPs. If it's like radars or some advanced systems, we have NMEA. On CCTV, we all know this by default nowadays, standardized on WIF. So it's these are the different standards and different ways these D-separate systems gets interfaced with the top layer or with each other. And what benefit ideally a end customer or user get out of all these systems, these PSIM layers? The biggest benefit to the customer or to the user is that these systems will help you to minimize your risk by identifying true or false situations, proactively acting on the situation, reduce operational cost. So now with the help of these top layers, you don't need to basically maintain too many operators, too many security guards. A single security guard manage a complete building. Doesn't matter how many systems are connected in that or installed in that. It leverages and extends existing physical security investment integration. So integrate and analyze information from D-separate systems or traditional systems or any new commonly used device out of the box. Improve situational response times. As I said earlier, this top layer proactively resolve security-related or emergency situations with real-time data aggregated from multiple systems. It distributes information to different users, different stakeholders, so they can act on it as well. Like take example of fire alarm, which is very critical. So it escalates to the different level, not only to just one operator level. And it enables compliance. So till date, we know that most of the systems are just giving us alarms, events, we acknowledge them, but what next? Most of the operators just simply acknowledge them. They don't follow any instructions, any SOPs. But with these top layers, we can define the responsibility of our operators. We can make sure that the operator will make they attend every event, every alarm, and respond back to the system with the predefined SOPs. So this will basically put an extra responsibility to the operator that they must have to follow a particular procedure before closing a particular alarm. Okay. And if it's closing an alarm without following particular defined SOPs, the alarm, instead of getting closed, it escalates to the next level. And finally, the operator will get caught. And these systems has modules which will help you to provide, different kind of reports. You can have audit trails. So everything is synced back, registered in the system. I'll move to the next section of some other advanced technologies which can also be benefited to the users if they adopt them and apply them in their facilities. So this is one of the new trend and is quite popular, especially in enterprise and especially over cities nowadays. So this module, this technology is called video summarization. Some people also called it Synopsys. So this technology quickly pin down the kind of subject or object information you are looking in your recorded pool of data. We know that we have so many cameras installed in our facilities and we keep recording them weeks, months, years. But what if we quickly look out for some information out of these recorded video feeds? So the video summarization, this new technology, will help us to quickly pinpoint the kind of subject and object we are looking in the recorded pool of the data. We can track the particular person or a vehicle or any other item which looks similar and connected all our cameras. And not only it can search, it can even search those areas which, like take example, something happened. For example, someone has reported an incident that this incident was happened at this place. You just select that area and this system quickly help you that what happens in that area in the predefined time which you're looking to have information. And then this systems has another feature that's called Synopsys. Amazing technology. It can turn your hours or days or long videos in a very short clip. It superimposes all movements of your subject objects on a single clip. So a 30-minute clip can be just turned in 53 seconds. And you're not going to miss any of the movement of those 30 minutes. So it quickly helps the security operators to review the situation and to produce the complete activity to the management in a very short clip. We are going to see some examples of this in our next slides. So these technologies work around NVIDIA. The GPUs, we know that these all advanced level of AI is not possible without any GPU technology. So like these technologies works around GPUs, which are from NVIDIA, which can be from AMD, and now you'll see a new player in the market, Intel, which is coming very aggressively. So this system will collect a raw video. When I say raw video can be from anything. It can be from your recorded NVR, DVR, or video management, or the raw video can be collected from a phone or any community system, and that can be provided as an input to this technology. And this technology simply process this whole video, and it will make this complete raw video searchable, right? So I can search out of this raw video anything which I am looking for, and then if required, I can also make this technology actionable. For example, if I'm looking for an object which is missed, take example of a toolbox. If that toolbox is appeared next time in front of any camera, system should quickly trigger back to me. So I can first, with the searchable way, I can print down the object to its last visible location. And in the actionable module, we can basically trigger, we can set new rules which trigger the actions if the particular subject and objects looks again in the new video feeds. Right? So here's a classic example. So I would like to basically find out a woman traveling on bicycle, wearing white, black, and going on south side. Now, I just want to have this basic information. What ideally we do when we would like to search this kind of information? We play back videos, right? We play back one camera, we play back two camera, we play back three camera, we play back other cameras until we're not able to find out this matching criteria in our recorded videos. This technology, without any manual intervention, will get you quickly the relevant video feed from your recorded CCTV footage. Here example. So this is the original video. And I put this criteria to the system that get me only the information or the video footage which is complying to this information. System will get me the complete video clip and zoom this relevant information. So this lady is appearing here. We can set this instruction to not only one camera. These instructions can apply to your 100 or 1,000 cameras until this criteria will not fulfill. If this woman exists in any of videos. Take an example of your long 30-minute video, right? Assume that something happened in this video and you would like to provide this video. Extracting this 30-minute video will take lots of time. And then again, you have to play back, up and front, back and front, next, up, forward or backward. What this technology will do is simply summarize everything in a short clip. So whatever is appearing in this 30-minute video clip, we'll see everything appeared in just 53 seconds short clip with timestamp. We can click on any subject or object and we can, the moment we'll click, system allow us to go back at exactly that moment of time in the original video CCTV footage. So it saves lots of time of the operators to investigate any kind of situation reported to them. Another video where out of the same 30-minute video, we are just looking for a woman wearing blue. Nothing else. We don't want to see other people. We don't want to see the bicycles. We don't want to see anything. Just show me the woman which is wearing blue. And in the same video clip, I don't want to see anything. Just show me bicycles going on a particular direction. So system will remove everything and it just show you the particular subject or object you're looking for. So another technology is also very interesting, and you will see that most of the new projects in Indian market will soon coming on this technology. There are a couple of deployments in India as well. It's very quite popular in America, Europe, and now in EMEA market. This technology is called behavioral analytics system. We know that most of the guys have already heard analytics. Now, what's different in the behavioral analytics? Now, behavioral analytics, something is very different. It follows a pattern-based technology. The previous generation of analytics which we witness is follow rule-based technology. We create rules, we create boxes, we create areas, we basically define rules in those areas. And if those rules met, we see the alarms. And that's very time consuming because creating multiple rules and then calibrate them will take a lot of time. And then in case of any false alarms, we need to recreate the rules. We need to recalibrate the cameras. But the behavioral analytics are something very amazing. They are based on the supervised AI, and the system is pre-trained. You can apply multiple behavior with just a single click on all your cameras or on a single camera. And applying multiple behaviors will not basically exceed your computer processing power as well. So your resource consumption will remain same, whether you apply a single rule or a single behavior or multiple behavior. And fortunately, the behavioral analytic technology is delivering many behaviors out of the box, which are very unique, which are not at all possible. And I can say it confidently because I have delivered both the technologies, the behavior as well as the traditional rule base. So rule base will even not able to achieve it in next 2 years or 3 years, but behavior is completely on the next era of next foot of the technology. Take an example of fire, right? The fire can be indoor or it can be outdoor. And assume that with this fire, I can have other rules. I mean, I can apply other behaviors as well. Take example in this camera, I don't know what's going to happen in future. Today we are seeing a fire. Tomorrow we can see a fight. And probably day after tomorrow, we can see a collision of vehicles. And maybe after that, we can see some kind of writing. We can see some kind of grouping. So we don't predict that's what's going to happen in front of this camera. But behavior analytics help us to trigger any of the behavior which we have selected can be happen in front of this camera. It helps us to get the trigger of those behaviors. So we are in a change situation, right? We are wearing masks nowadays. Government is making ensure that everyone should wear masks. Enterprise is making ensure that every employee should wear masks whenever they are in office. So see, the behavior is very easy for behavior to adopt to any new change situation. Here we can see the system is triggering for the people who are wearing mask and who are not wearing mask. If someone is not wearing mask, we'll see an alarm. Easy. No need of creating rules and calibrating cameras. Very common in India. It happens in most of the time, even in our controlled and educated scenarios as well. So fights, right? Fights between people, fights between employees. I mean, these kind of situation occur in front of any area, I mean, any camera. Person collapsing, right? Person fall. Most of the time, we keep creating rules, we keep calibrating cameras for these kind of detections. For behavior, it's very easy. It quickly detects any kind of falling subject. This is one of the very popular behavior, and I'm sure you guys have defined, or maybe you have seen or delivered. We called it in traditionally tripwire. We create tripwires on the perimeters, and if someone cross those tripwires or try to jump those tripwires, we would like to see alarm. But for behavior, we don't need to create any more tripwires, and not only tripwire. We can define multiple behaviors in front of, I mean, to a particular fence camera. Let's see. Here we'll see one behavior that the person are nearing fence. So we have told, I mean, we have defined in the system that no one should come close to the perimeter. So the system generated a first behavior. What next? Someone is trying to jump the fence. Second behavior. What if we also define third behavior that if anybody is running to the perimeter, close to the perimeter, trigger an alarm? We'll see a third behavior as well. So see how the life is going to be simple with behavioral analytics. You apply the behaviors which you want to one camera or a set of camera. You keep changing them by just clicks. I mean, you can uncheck particular behavior. You can apply a new behavior. Now, this is very common. I'm sure you guys have very familiar with facial recognition system. Nowadays, very popular in both the applications, whether it's surveillance application or whether it's an access control application. And we know that down the line in 1 year or 2 years, all our readers, which we are swapping cards, are going to replace with face-based readers. The biggest player in the market, HID, is coming up with all these new face-based readers by this year. And surveillance application has already adopted this technology, or most of the cities are implementing these kind of systems. Our enterprise customers are implementing these kind of systems. Our hospitality customers are implementing these kind of systems. So these systems can help you to detect all the faces and identify your different categories, such as like whitelisted people, employees, VIP, or any blacklisted people which you don't want to see. And if they appear, you would like to see an alarm. This is one of the classic example. This is one of the city, right? So the system is keep detecting all the faces which is appearing in front of the camera and match a subject and trigger us an alarm if the particular subject matches with the stored image of our database image. So this is a kind of surveillance application which make use of facial recognition, and nowadays very common. This is another application which we will already deploying in India, and you will see most of the new deployments will come on this. Access control, right? So we don't need in future any more of these access cards. Our face is going to be identity for everything. To have access to a particular door, or even to make the payments, right? So our face is going to be a new way of making payments. Simply scan your face and type your account PIN number to make the payments. Similarly, like you are doing with UPI. So you don't need to carry any cash, or you don't need to carry your card with you. That's it from my side. Thank you very much for your time. In case if you have any questions, please feel free to ask.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Shashi. I think now we will ask viewers to have any questions or any clarities required. So just we will take the questions right now. Anybody who has got any clarity required on the technologies being upcoming technologies on the video analytics, and I think they can just pose their questions. We are here. We have got a little amount of time where we can be able to spend with Mr. Shashi. So please pose your questions if you have any questions in the chat box, please, so that we can directly ask him. I'll start off with questions. In behavioral dynamics, can we have a distance and a height calculation between the people?
Yes, ideally to detect a behavior, we would like to have those particular behavior should be visible on 10% of the camera view. So that's very minimum, frankly. I mean, the height definitely doesn't matter, but whatever is occurring in the particular video feed should be at least of 10% of that video feed, that video frame.
Okay. So, there are a couple of other questions which when I have and which I would like to ask you. Okay. So the one more question is that whether these face recognition which we talked about, can we connect it to our Aadhaar? Is it possible?
Absolutely, absolutely, it is possible. It's very much possible.
Okay. So is there any places where it has been made or it has been working in the...
Not in India, but I can give you a classic example of, take example of Dubai. So Dubai is making the use of facial recognition technology for this kind of program. And not only to this kind of program, they are making use of your face recognition for any kind of other verification, whether it's your passport verification or whether it's your license verification. So they are verifying, they are doing your KYCs, verifying and fulfilling all those formalities with your face.
Okay, great. So can you let us know the different types of applications where the face recognition being used in Indian scenarios where actually face recognitions are being used?
So in India, we have a mixed kind of application utilizing facial recognition technology. Take example of surveillance, which I mean, most of the cities have already opt for this technology to identifying chain snatchers, pickpocketers, or any other bad guys. Some cities are also using it, like NIC is using it to identify missing kids. Then we have a couple of airports which are using it for complete end-to-end boarding process. We have some enterprise companies who are using it for access control. I mean, using it for dual authentication, face and PIN, or face or card. So there are multiple deployments in India. It's not new to India. I mean, we have proven cases in India of facial recognition now.
Wonderful. There is one more question. Can the face detection be connected with the government data if the people are vaccinated or not?
Yeah, absolutely. Not only to checking the vaccination. If you will see our election department, they are planning to use facial recognition in the back end, so they can be avoid any kind of duplication issuance of your voter ID cards. Right? Yeah. I'm sure we have heard this news of like fake voting. This is going to be reduced very soon because already our election department is working on using this technology on this kind of program.
Okay. And what is the technology being used there? What kind of a technology being used?
So basically, when you apply for a voter ID card, okay, they match your face when you are initiating an application with the stored database, whether any existing voter ID has already initiated with this face. If it's already done, they simply block your application.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And not only to the new application, they are trying to filter out all those stored faces in the system and removing all duplicacies.
Okay, wonderful. So, is this applications will be working on a cloud or in premises?
Nowadays, there's no restriction. As I've said, IT is the boss of these systems. These technologies can be hosted anywhere in a virtual environment on cloud, or it can be in your own data center.
Wonderful. So there's one more question that do we have to take a permission from government to add with the Aadhaar? Is there any requirements like that, formalities?
Yes, absolutely. Because government has some norms and they charge some fees as well for per Aadhaar verification.
Okay, so that is a piece will be added to that, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you. There's one more question that can we introduce a behavior analytics to any existing CCTV system or a third-party software?
it can be applied to any of your existing cameras or on your new cameras. All the technologies which we discuss here are completely open platform.
So that means say it can be added to any brand or any make.
Absolutely, any make of cameras. It can run on any make of cameras. It can be interfaced with any make of video management system or NVR systems. And most of these technologies are already pre-integrated with most of the leading brands available in the market.
Wonderful. So there is one more thing which I would like to ask you, on this particular thing is that what do you see the future of the video analytics in Indian scenario? How soon this will be implemented in India, according to you?
See, Indian scenario is, I mean, if you see the adoption to the new technology, the customers are very much aware with it, and we are seeing now the new cities especially, they are adopting to this behavioral based approach. Enterprise, definitely. You will see many new implementation in India this year and the next year. We already have a couple of implementation which we have witnessed on behavioral analytics, and mixed kind of verticals are adopting it, especially like enterprise, manufacturing, cities, then retail stores. They all are adopting this kind of behavioral analytics technologies. The best thing is that in behavior, we don't need to create rules. I mean, we can just simply, by a single click, we can apply any behavior on any camera. We don't need to think that how much time it's going to take, because these systems are based on supervised learning. So they are pre-trained, pre-calibrated.
Okay. So one more question is that, see how building segment, actually it's the small enterprises are there. How will they be able to afford this?
Yeah, so in the PSIM category, if you will see, we have a different level of PSIMs available. Now, this is a kind of mind block of most of the customer is that, will I able to afford the PSIM or not? See, PSIM is available in different form. It depends on what kind of integration you would like to have and what you would like to achieve out of those integration. Like take example of some customers just would like to have a mere integration and acknowledgement feature of just basic things like take example of CCTV access control and fire. Now these things can be also interface around a small, a good brand of video management. Then we have a next level, which is a middle category of PSIMs, where we would like to integrate different systems. But on top of, we would also like to have some SOPs, some defined processes, some we would like to use maps. So basic things, not very deep level of features of SOPs or reporting or audit trails, just a basic things. Then we have a completely detailed level, which is the completely top level PSIMs, which will basically converge everything, which will provide you not only integration, it will provide you full-fledged SOPs, workflows. It provides you the mobile apps to dispatch, take care of dispatch. It basically also help you to monitor your cybersecurity threats. So it depends actually what kind of what kind of functionality you are looking for with your PSIM layer.
Perfect. So one question is that, can we use the video synopsis for 1,600 cameras?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, the video synopsis has deployed in more than 10,000. I can name you some references which are using more than 9,000, 10,000 cameras connected on video synopsis.
Oh, wonderful. Nice to hear that.
A classic example I'll give you, just to our neighbor, Singapore, Dubai. These both cities are completely end-to-end, including their airports. They are completely end-to-end running on this video synopsis technology.
Amazing to know that. Can you just explain something more about blacklisting and whitelisting in the companies or the building segments, how it can be used?
So in the enterprise, you know that we have different kind of visitors. We have VIPs, which we would like to quickly greet on our reception. We have our employees, and we have some employees which we have already blacklisted, or basically they are removed from the organization. But if still they are visiting inside of our facilities, those are basically our blacklisted people, or anyone who is making a scene in the organization. You simply put that person in the blacklist, and whenever this guy is trying to enter in your facility, you know what to do with him, because the system is triggering you an alarm.
That's really nice. Good. So that means that this could be also be used for R&D sectors where where the restrictions are allowed, not allowed, like those things is
Absolutely. Nowadays, like as I told you, take example of software companies. They are using it for like different sections. Like if they have a particular area which is dedicated for Microsoft development, so only the employees which are working on that project will allow to enter in that particular area, not any other employee which is working on other project. And if any of employer which is not working on that particular object appeared in this area, you will see a quick red alert.
great. I think I think if any other question, I think that's the questions which we have. I think we would like to now before we say anything, that we would like to first of all we would like to give our thanks to Mr. Shashi, who gave us a lot of good information on the sessions on the upcoming sessions on the physical security information system and the advanced technologies which is being upcoming in the trends. So thank you very much, Shashi, for being here in this particular case and actually giving us a lot of knowledge on the upcoming technologies. And any other questions which anybody has gotten that we will be able to now directly contact you and then get the information done. And
Right.
then before the nevertheless, actually would like to thank all our sponsors, all our sponsors, gold sponsors, event sponsors, platinum sponsors, and actually those who have given us a platform to give us such a wonderful event for all the viewers. Thank you very much for each and every viewers who are there on the platform right now, for giving your enormous amount of a time to on a Friday evening being here and then watching for a wonderful session. Thank you very much for each and everyone. Stay safe, and then be healthy. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much for your valuable time.
Yeah, thank you, Shashi. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Thanks, everyone.